What's new in Peru? What's new in Peru? Welcome to What's New in Peru. I'm your host, Michaela Jackson, with the latest news in Peru. Let's get started. Women in the 2018 Miss Peru pageant broke tradition. Instead of telling the judges their measurements, the contestants offer statistics about femicide, rape, and other gender-based violent acts that plague the country of Peru.
Mi nombre es Camila Canicova y represento al departamento de Lima. Mis medidas son 2.202 casos por feminicidio reportados en los últimos 9 años en mi país.
Mi nombre es Karen Cueto y represento a Lima. Y mis medidas son 82 feminicidios y 156 tentativas en lo que va del año.
Mi nombre es Melody Calderón y represento a la libertad. Y mis medidas son el 81% de agresores a niñas menores de 5 años son cercanos a la familia.
Mi nombre es Samantha Batallanos, represento a Lima y mis medidas son: una niña muere cada 10 minutos por producto de la explotación sexual.
Juana Acevedo, y mis medidas son: más del 70% de las mujeres de nuestro país es víctima de acoso callejero.
Mi nombre es Kelin Rivera y represento a Arequipa. Mis medidas son 6.573 casos de violencia a la mujer son registradas en mi región.
Earlier this year, a corruption scandal occurred in Latin America. Peruvian prosecutors accused former President Alejandro Toledo for accepting $20 million in bribes from the Brazilian construction giant Odebrecht in exchange for infrastructural contracts.
7-meter-high statue was a gift, costing nearly $1 million, and most of that was paid for by Brazil's Odebrecht. Now it's a target for people's anger. This graffiti says, "Odebrecht, get out of the country." Former President Alejandro Toledo, who was in office from 2001 to 2006, signed an infrastructure agreement with the Brazilian construction giant. Now, the former shoeshine boy who became a president is accused of taking $20 million in bribes from Odebrecht. And a judge has ordered he come back to Peru and face investigation from prison.
Preventive prison for a period of 18 months against the plaintiff Alejandro Toledo Manrique, and as he's currently free, he should be located, captured and imprisoned in a Peruvian penitentiary immediately. To that end, national and international orders are to be presented.
Prosecutors searched Toledo's house after finding around $11 million allegedly transferred from Odebrecht to offshore accounts linked to one of his associates. The former president, who is believed to be in France, denies all charges.
We want to appeal and have it heard by the Superior Court. Meanwhile, I recommend my client not to present himself before this threat and this judicial campaign launched today by this judge.
Prosecutors say the bribes were in return for 2 contracts that helped pave the way for the interoceanic highway, connecting Peru's Pacific ports to Brazil's Atlantic shore. The final price tag, $1.3 billion. Odebrecht says it paid $29 million to Peruvian officials between 2005 and 2014. And the timing implicates Toledo's successors too, turning public opinion sour. Current President Pedro Pablo Kuczynski served as finance minister and then prime minister under Toledo when the contracts were awarded.
The prosecutors must explain these allegations. There are legal proceedings, and as I said the other day, I hope that he comes and answers to these allegations before the prosecutors.
The oldest South American language is rising from the dead in Peru. The language is Quechua, one of the region's oldest languages. 13% of the Peruvian population itself is fluent in the language. Quechua has made an appearance on one of the Peru's broadcast stations.
Switch on the TV in Peru. Tune in to any of the big radio stations. Open up a national newspaper. And the information citizens will get, the information they need, will be in a language that many of them might not understand. Spanish. 2 months ago, however, the Peruvian public broadcaster aired a news show that broke the mold. The news was being broadcast in Quechua, an indigenous language, one that many of its speakers would prefer to deny, in a country where the language you speak marks your class, highlights your economic status, and defines your prospects.
The very fact that this program is being broadcast means that Quechua speakers will lift their heads up and will be better informed, and they will no longer be ashamed of speaking Quechua.
Our language was seen as an embarrassment. It was frowned upon, and we were looked down on.
The significance of this news broadcast in Quechua is that it recognizes the fact that this is a multicultural, multilingual, multi-ethnic country.
Some people have complained they don't understand. Well, my only response is that finally they get what it's like to be a Quechua speaker in Peru, watching the national news in your own country, and not understanding because it's broadcast in a language that's not your own.
Ñukanchik does more than just broadcast in a different language. The producers say their mission is to reflect a different reality, a perspective that isn't mainstream in Peru. So while the morning news in Spanish might be dominated by news on Lima politics, on Ñukanchik, a significant proportion of the news is sourced from remote locations. There's a focus on the concerns of the farming population. All this and reports on government policy.
This broadcast station is bringing new light to this language. It's not just the poor who speak it. Continuing with poverty, the Wall of Shame is in Lima, Peru. The wall was built to exclude the poor from the wealthy. The rich live in the area of Santiago de Surco district. The wall separates them from the nearby area called Papelona Alta. This area is one of the poorest neighborhoods in Lima.
Nos sentimos lamentablemente nosotros marginados, pues, ¿no? Quizás tienen vergüenza de las personas que viven acá, pero si ellos vinieran acá, se darían cuenta que acá no hay gente mala. Hay gente que de verdad necesita mucho apoyo de ellos. Tienen tanto dinero para gastar en ese muro de la vergüenza y ves que lo gasten en unas cosas buenas, ¿no? Sobre todo en lugares así como este que necesitan.
The wall was built on class lines rather than ethnic borders, like how Trump wants to build a wall separating the United States from Mexico. Working conditions are not safe in Peru. As inspectors try to crack down on dangerous working conditions, 2 young men died because they were locked inside their workplace when a fire broke out.
An inspection and control unit of Lima's municipality is combing through businesses in the capital, searching for people working in dire conditions. They're trying to avoid another tragedy. Last month, 2 young men filmed themselves desperately trying to break open a metal door. They had been working inside a makeshift container illegally placed on the roof of a gallery of stores packed with flammable materials. For hours, 21-year-old Jovi Herrera and 19-year-old Jorge Luis Huaman waved for help. They were padlocked inside their workplace. Firefighters couldn't save them. Jovi and Jorge Luis were not forced to take the jobs, but store owners say workers are usually locked inside to avoid theft. Jorge Luis's mother, Berta, says he worked for at least 12 hours each day and was paid less than $1 an hour.
They treated him worse than an animal, with 2 locks, as if they were going to escape.
The International Labor Organization says they died in slave-like conditions. The Global Slavery Index shows more than 200,000 people are living in modern-day slavery conditions in Peru.
Most of the workers are very poor and they don't know they can demand better working conditions, or they don't care. There is an extended culture of informality where people accept these conditions as normal, including being locked up.
Municipality Unit Chief Martí Reyes says the more they dig, the more they find.
We are shocked people accept these jobs. Many take risks because they need to help their families to make ends meet.
70% of Peru's workforce is not regulated. Inspectors find violations in almost every workplace they encountered. Between July and August, about 10,000 teachers head to the streets to protest in the capital city of Lima. Peru's teachers are on strike for better working conditions and an increase in salary, also to fight proposed education reforms. The police used tear gas against the protesters on the street, and the protest of teachers in Peru lasted 2 months. It came to a temporarily end on September 2nd. Peru has passed Colombia as the world's coca and cocaine producers. Peru's long Pacific coastline serves as an ideal dock for cocaine transportation.
A year on from the UN declaring Peru the biggest producer of cocaine, Vice News joined the anti-narcotics police force on the hunt for a clandestine airstrip deep in the Guayaga Valley. The Guayaga Valley is an area so remote and thick with forest, it's largely inaccessible by car, creating a perfect habitat for drugs traffickers. Locals had tipped off the police after spotting a light aircraft crashing by the bank of a river. The commando's mission is to locate and destroy the runway from where the plane took off.
This looks like part of the tail of a light aircraft that crash landed just down there. ¿Y el resto se lo llevó el río?
Sí, río se lo llevó. Al parecer era de Bolivia, que estaba viniendo a recoger un gran cargamento de droga. ¿Cuánto te costó? Ahí está. A ver, tráelo. ¿Para qué lo has escondido? ¿No tienes comunicación con la población de allá arriba? No, nada. ¿No estás de seguridad acá? No. ¿Y qué es con este armamento?
Por esto andamos en monte, nosotros matamos a nuestro animal.
Cuando hemos llegado, ¿dónde estabas parado?
Yo estoy cagando.
Dime la verdad.
Sí, es verdad, sin mentir por Dios. Así es.
Batería nueva.
Lo que nos indica acá el poblador está diciendo que tenemos una población, que en medio de la población está la pista y ellos son los que cuidan y lo rehabilitan la pista.
Puede estar brindando seguridad a la pista clandestina, por eso es lo que estamos esperando a los demás para entrar en grupo.
Que vengan a comer.
Ok.
Se ponga seguridad del otro camino.
Están con lanzas y no va a hacer que nos sorprendan con sus lanzas. Y aquí nomás. Su terreno es esto de ellos, pero la pista es clandestina. Por ley esto se va a inhabilitar, vamos a detonar y vamos a ver su reacción de ellos.
Salimos.
This looks like they damaged the landing strip, but they are just using this to put more explosives inside and just blow the whole place up. So no wonder why the native community is not happy about this.
Ahí les se agarraron 10 soles cada uno y ahí se callaron. Como no saben, otro sí había que sí administraba la pista y cobraba el billete del narco.
Chino.
Ruining the airstrips is proving to be an efficient way of pushing the drugs traffickers out of the Huallaga Valley. However, with huge damages to their land for a crime they were not complicit in, the natives are also left shortchanged.
These families are poor. They sell and grow coca leaves to provide for their families and educate their children. That's all the news for this edition of What's New in Peru. Stay tuned until next time. See you then. What's new in Peru? What's new in Peru?